All right, what's up? I wasn't gonna make a video today, but just kind of impressed myself with this one, so wanted to get on here, maybe talk through it, share what I just did, and maybe provide some value to everybody that's watching. So, um, yeah. So yesterday we left off here. Talked about the landing page that I'm gonna work on. Talked about Magical, how we used Magical to scrape, Sirhan's website because they were using JavaScript, and so that was basically where we left off. The next thing to do was do Douglas Elliman's agents, but Douglas Elliman's agents, there's like thousand of them, right? There's 12 per page here, 116 pages. You do the math. To do this with Magical, I would have had to click open every single one of these, have them load, go to the next page, and then click open the next 12 over and over and over again, 1,000 times. Run Magical, and then it'll save them to a spreadsheet. And while that could have worked, as I was thinking about going to do it last night or today, I was like, this is probably not a good use of my time. I don't want to sit here clicking 1,000 links. Although, to be fair, the kind of solution that I was going for probably took just as much time or even more time. But I sat down last night and I was trying to brainstorm, okay, how can we do this kind of faster than clicking open links 1,000 times? And I thought, I was looking at videos like this, or I scrape any website for free using DeepSeek and Crawl
Hey guys,
AI.
in today's video,
I'm going through this video. Then this is using something called Grok and like a headless environment, Python. I downloaded Python last night, and I'm trying to go through this, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Right? I thought I could kind of brute force my way through this. I have no idea what I'm doing. Right? I'm not a coder. I'm not familiar with Python. I'm not familiar with headless environments, Grok, or Cloud. I'm not. So, although and this specific use case was for the not.com. So, as I was going through this, I'm like, this is not productive. This is not working for me. So then I thought, okay, I took a screenshot of this. Right, I went here. I took a screenshot. And then I fed that screenshot into Perplexity. I fed it into Claude. I fed it into Grok 3, DeepSeek. And for the most part, they were able to take the information from that screenshot and produce it into a table format, right? So if, for instance, if I went here, let's just try it again, thought exercise. If I take a screenshot like this, right, there's 8 people. That's going to be a good test. I go here and I say, go to Claude, and then I type in, or I paste in the screenshot, and I say, based on this screenshot, output the agent's names, mobile phone numbers, and email addresses. Okay, so pretty good, right? Abigail 917304 element.com. Right, it was okay. So I figured, okay, yeah, why don't we try and take screenshots of every page like this, and then we'll feed those pages into ChatGPT or Claude, and then output all the names like that. So I then went to like the Chrome extension store, found an extension that would take screenshots, like this one, Get Fire Shot, and then it said here, automatically capture all tabs of PDF or image, or provide a list of URLs for automatic batch capturing process. I'm like, that's Awesome. That's exactly what I need. I'll just provide them because again, the difference between Douglas Elliman and Sirhan's website was that this website had pagination. So like 2, 3, 4, right? So I'm thinking there's 116. I could just feed it a list of the 116 URLs, have it take screenshots of every URL, feed those screenshots into Claude, and then I'll get my list like that. And turns out for this extension, it's not possible unless you buy their Pro, which is like $40 or something. And I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to pay $40 to do this, but maybe then a few drinks later, I was like, oh, maybe Claude can make this extension for me. So then I went down this rabbit hole of having Claude trying to create this extension where it will create PDF screenshots from all open tabs. And this is the prototype that I ended up with. You could see very simplistic UI, but this is literally just having a conversation with Claude and saying, and using Claude, the extended model, 3.7 Sonnet, the extended model, which is best for math and coding challenges, as it says here. And this is a bunch of back and forth because the initial iteration did not do what I wanted it to do. It was not creating PDFs, so then it like changed to PNGs, which thinking back on it now, maybe PNGs would have been the better approach. But there was just a bunch of bugs and troubleshooting. And so anyway, after maybe 3 hours of working on this, I finally got what we have here, a Chrome extension that you can install onto Chrome that will take screenshots of all the open URLs, all the open tabs, and generate these screenshots. So I then fed this into Claude, and what ended up happening was Claude started hallucinating. I'm assuming the PDFs, either they weren't high enough resolution because you can only upload like a 30 megabit file, so they weren't high enough resolution, or there was just too much text and it just started getting confused and it started hallucinating. It started giving me people who were not on the list. It started producing fake phone numbers and fake email addresses. So I spent all this time developing this Chrome extension, which is great on paper. Maybe I'll take this extension, I'll publish it to the Chrome extension store so that maybe somebody else can use it. But this was a dud. And and so like I was saying in the beginning, it probably, if I just took 3 hours to click open 1,000 tabs, it might have been easier. But I was in too deep now. I'm like, this is not it. Like I want to figure out a way to do this. So then I started thinking, okay, wait, I started digging into it, and I'm realizing this is all standardized, right? This is all standardized. You could see that they have a class called agent item name. They have on the mobile number, they have a class called O number or phone number 2. So these are all labeled already by HTML and CSS classes and identifiers. And then I thought, okay, why don't I just create a tool? Because all these pages are standardized, right? There's 12 per page, and if I could just have some way to feed these URLs to something to rip everything together. Again, like there are ways to do this that involve Python, like I showed you in the beginning. I've watched a bunch of those videos. I still don't get it. I'm not a coder. I'm not that tech savvy. But I figured, okay, but I do know HTML and CSS, right? Like that's the extent of what I know, and then a little bit of JavaScript. But what I did here was I took this whole source code. So this is the actual source code for this page. I fed this to Claude, and basically I said, hey, like for instance, let's try it here. I said, hey, like, can you output the agents names, mobile phone numbers, and email addresses in a table format, right? Like very simple request. I'll use the extended model. Let me zoom in here a little bit. So it failed to fetch. Let me just try it again. So just based on this code, they should be able to output that in a table format because the labels, the classifiers are very straightforward. They're kind of intuitive enough that Claude can kind of extract that information. Okay, so while this is working, again, the extended model takes some time to work, but you could see now there is no intermediary step between a screenshot and them reading the screenshot. I'm just giving them this actual source code and getting them to extract email information, which is also great because if you take a look here, this the Ziv, Gottlieb, and Bernstein team, they have 3 email addresses here that you could see when you inspect. So they have Zahar, Noam, and Shai, but on the visual, you can't see that. So that posed another problem with the screenshot method where they would only be able to give me the first thing or whatever was visible. But now by using the code, you can get all 3. You can see here, right? Which is great. So, okay, now like a light bulb went off in my head and I said, okay, I want to create just a web tool that I could feed it URLs, and based on the URLs, it'll extract all this information for me. So I went down another rabbit hole with Claude, and I went through this entire process, right? This is the prompt. You're a developer that is tasked with creating a system to scrape and organize a list of agents from a real estate website. This is the code for one of their pages. Again, same thing. I just pasted in that code. The URL structure for each page goes like this. And as you can see, the pagination is, I forgot what else I said, but as you can see, there's a pagination for the URL. Create a web tool that will be able to go through each of these URLs, extract each agent's name, phone number, mobile phone number, and email address, and output it in a table format. So it created something like this, right? Number of pages to scrape, start scraping. It would look like this, like number of pages 5, and then it would just scrape it like this. But I don't want to put in the number of pages. I just wanted to have like a list of URLs that we can do. And then it started giving me all this code. Again, I don't like seeing this, right? I'm like, this I don't understand any of this. But I did like this idea where we could do something like this. So I liked it enough that I then made some modifications. Then we could do the URLs instead. Then I went through this entire conversation with Claude, asking for it to explain to me how to deploy this onto an actual application. I used DigitalOcean and gave me step-by-step instructions. I'm really good at copy pasting, so just copy pasted exactly what it told me. And now we ended up with this, right? Which is just on a DigitalOcean directory, the Douglas Element Agent directory scraper. URLs to scrape. I put in all 116 pages here. It was able to get me all of the information, and I've been spot testing. So if I go to like page 103 and I look for Leslie Wilson, for instance, Leslie Wilson's here. No mobile number, but she has an office, which is fine, but the mobile's not there. I don't want to call the office. And then L Wilson at element.com, and it's telling me where the page was, where they got this page. So now I'm just going to download this into a CSV, and yeah, that's my list for today. Douglas Elliman's list is done. I'm going to go through the next agency on the list. If I were to pull that up, I don't know what that is, but let's say it was Corcoran, right? I just know that that's one. Corcoran, real estate agents, browse all agents, maybe. Nope. Let's see. Search local agents. Maybe New York City. New York. Okay, great. So New York. It looks like it's a modifier. And is there pagination? No, there is no pagination on this. So now, again, we'll have to see what the best way to do this is. Maybe I'll just ask Claude. Maybe Claude is the kind of like the best person to ask on how to go about this, and maybe they'll develop some tool that we can then deploy again to scrape just Corcoran's agents. And so that's the next kind of tool, or maybe that's that problem that I'm gonna tackle. But yeah, in this one, I just thought it was, I was kind of impressed at how deep I went down the rabbit hole and actually developed something where it could get everything together at once. I'm a little bit more confident in employing these type of tools to DigitalOcean now. Although I wouldn't be able to do it without Claude's step-by-step instructions. So, you know, as long as you can follow directions and you can ask the right questions for an AI platform like this, you can do it too. So next step is to figure out how to do Corcoran. Again, it's JavaScript based, just like Sirhant, but they have a lot more agents here. They have 52 pages and a lot more agents per page. I'm not trying to click on all these. So again, maybe we'll ask Claude on what that will look like. And yeah, and hopefully that'll be another day or two or something like that. I'll try to work on it tonight, but at least 2 down, and you know, probably like 10 to 12 more to go. And if I find any more solutions that are pretty cool, I'll make a video on it next. If not, probably just more of the same thing, get magical and some combination of this kind of solution. But anything interesting, I'll make another video. Thanks.